welcome to Fanboy and the Snob. My name is Christopher.
I'm Chad, and today we're talking about the 2006 South Korean film
The Host.
starring
Bunch of names we're gonna butcher.
Kang Ho Song, Bain Hee Bong,
Don't
Park Hae
Don't
Il,
be racist about it.
Baeodana,
Bae Duna, I think.
Ko
Ko
Asung.
Asung.
I'm not being racist. I'm trying to.
Dal
Dao
Suo.
Suo,
And I think that's the only other names we gotta say. Oh, Ji Mun Yun,
homeless man,
who is probably
save the day.
seriously just like shows up in the third act and is like, "Oh, fuck it, I'm down."
But
Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen The Host, it's basically one of the best monster movies ever made,
yeah,
hands down. And it's not just like, so when you think monster movies, you think Godzilla. You think Godzilla, big monster destroying a city, or you think The Blob, where everyone's running around screaming and running from it.
And this is definitely one of the best overreactions of a government.
Yeah.
Because when we get to the end of the movie, you'll know that they could.
I was on board with the government right up until that point. I was like,
It's
makes
like-
sense. Put guys with guns on the riverbank. Duh. You know? Like,
idiots.
yeah, so I guess like a lot of horror movies, the characters are the worst part. You know, because everyone's one-dimensional and boring.
No, they actually drawn a lot of these people out.
In this movie, like,
Even people that are in the scene for like a minute.
for a second, you like the white guy who helps fight the monster at the beginning of the movie.
Eli Roth, not Eli Roth.
He just he's running towards danger.
His girlfriend's like, no.
And he's like, I have to do something, you know? And then our bumbling idiot runs in and tries to help him too. And then,
fuck shit up.
but for like, you see this dude in the movie, he's probably in it for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what kind of person he is.
Now, you think they made him die because a lot of the movies have like the big American guy being the hero?
Maybe.
You think they were trying to pay homage to that than having him just die?
Not really. I think it was more just like, hey, you can kind of act and you're an extra. How about you be this guy, you know?
Then you had our hero. Dude, he fucking picks up one of those like concrete slab
It's
things.
like
holding the
6
sign
inches of concrete.
up. It's like this thick.
And he lifts it up over his... Anyway, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. How's this movie start?
Well, it starts out
Because it
little...
explains our main character perfectly.
Yeah, it starts out he's pretty much asleep. His father owns... Is it his father?
Yeah.
That's his father. Yeah, obviously. He owns like a little convenience store and like a truck or something. Looks
like a weird little like food truck before food trucks were food trucks.
And he's sleeping.
But it's like a convenience store. It's like a 7-Eleven. So it's just like snacks and stuff like that.
So you see like this little kid walk up. He's like trying to steal.
And then his older brother stops him.
Then the father walks around back and he's like, and they walk away.
Well, the woman's trying to buy things, but our main character's passed out. So the father lifts his head up to pull the change off his face and give it to this family. The main family in this movie, they're all fuck ups.
Yeah.
Like even the most successful of them is only a bronze medalist. You know, like she's amazing, but she's only a bronze. Because this whole family, she waits too long. Because they're all fuck ups.
But
they're so lovable. They're so lovable. Even the douchebag drunk younger brother is like...
I think he might have been my favorite.
He fucking turns on hero mode halfway through the movie and fucking fights the hard...
I don't think he was a drunk douchebag. I just think they're super close.
Well,
the father does say, we're finally all back together.
No, they weren't. They were very dysfunctional. Because the father has that whole thing where he was like, I was a drunk raising you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry and all that stuff. But the scene where the little girl is introduced, he's like, so how was Parents' Day? And she was like, I was the only one that brought my uncle. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she goes, and uncle smelt of booze. And then when we see him in person, he's drinking, so...
Well, it makes sense. He's the guy that they even talk about in the movie. He's like the college graduate, but he can't find a job.
But he can't get a fucking job, even though he protested for democracy in his country. He's like, I fucking fought for this, and they won't even give me a goddamn job. And then we should talk about the sister, who's like an Olympic archer, but she
uncle's sister.
And the main character's sister. It's
their cousins. They're cousins of the main character.
Oh, really? I missed that part. I thought they were all
they're
related.
cousins, but the uncle and the aunt are brother and sister, but they're his cousins.
Oh, I thought they were all related.
No, they are related.
No, but I mean,
yeah,
like, I thought they were all first.
No.
Okay.
That's why I was saying it's so cool how like they all just like came for this one girl, and
Yeah,
they
they all
always
came
around.
together.
The only time they come around is for her.
For her, yeah. Well, they fucking nail that right off on the bat.
Yeah.
Because like the father is hoarding money. The grandfather's like stoked to see his granddaughter. Like they're all excited to see the aunt fucking shooting archery. Like,
and now that you told me that was beer they were drinking, he gives the daughter a beer and she's ew, it's bitter.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to drink it.
She doesn't want to
It
drink
makes
it.
more sense now. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Did they poison the soda or something?
Nope. But yeah, so this movie's all about this American scientist doctor guy who tells
Well, that was a real ending or beginning.
his underling to dump just chemicals into the water, and then the chemicals in the water make a fucking monster fish thing.
Mr. Kim, formaldehyde, dirty formaldehyde. Pour him into the sink.
That starts attacking our main character and his family.
That was such a cool scene.
Yeah.
At the beginning. Basically, they're at the park and he's trying to bring
grilled squid.
Like he stole a leg off the thing. So he's like, you need to go bring it to the father's like, you need to go bring it to them and
the way
tell them.
The way everyone talked in this movie felt incredibly real. Like even the extras talking to each other sounded real. Where one guy's like, hey, where are you from? And he's like, oh, I'm from Pakistan. He's like, oh, you came all the way to South Korea from Pakistan? He's like, yeah, what's up, man? And then the monster starts attacking. It's like, yeah, that'd be a random conversation you would have with someone.
But the first time you see the monster, basically, he tries to bring in the food, and they're just not paying attention to him. They're like, there's something over there, something in the water.
Yeah, well, something's hanging off the bridge, and they're like,
yeah,
is that supposed to be there? Is it construction? Is it the government?
And the whole time, he's just like not paying attention. He's like trying to give him the food and everything.
Then the camera turns with him, so we're still staring at him, and the crowd of people, everyone's like...
Even us, we can't really tell what it is. It kind of just looks like gloop.
They knew their CGI was... I'm sure their CGI was cutting edge for the time.
No,
but
it wasn't.
They knew it wasn't good.
I think they were like, we need to have these scenes in this. So
they did the Jurassic Park Jaws thing where like shit, our effects suck, so keep the monster hidden unless we absolutely
until the end.
Unless we need to show the monster.
Yeah. Like a lot of the scenes in this were dark, obviously. Just hide this bad CGI.
Raining a lot.
So when you get to the fire on it, it kind of really just...
But what are you going to do, man?
Yeah. You make up for it with good movie.
With good movie, good characters, good plot.
I mean, it's not like Birdemic or fucking Sharknado bad.
But those are bad on purpose.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like that bad CGI. It's just like nowadays you're going to look at it and be like,
It was on par with Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, it really had that Thanos quality to it.
Yeah, like Thanos looked good, but everything else looked bad. You know what I mean?
A lot of things are good. It's beautiful. Anyway.
My favorite part is when all the gray things fight all the other gray things, and there's lots of lasers. Remember when Shang-Chi showed up?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but remember? Now that's an Asian movie we should watch. Yeah, so like the monster attacks the beach, and at first it's not really killing anyone, and then it runs into like a bunch of people run into what would you even call that? Like a shipping crate?
Yeah.
They run into like a shipping crate, and the monster runs in behind them, and it's just like lots of noise. You see the crowd looking at it. People are screaming, and the crate's like rocking back and forth.
And then you see like two people come out one end,
and they're covered in blood.
And then the camera like cuts the
over
other end. It's chained door,
and there's just bloody arms and faces.
So cool.
So the white guy and our main character run over, and they're trying to like bust it open, and they manage to fucking open it. But then the monster comes out, and it chases this fat guy between two trucks. So the fucking white guy discuses like a fucking concrete tile at it.
He fucking hucked that shit.
Yeah. And then the monster turns around and looks at him, so they both pick up a sign together. And
this movie was very anime-y.
It was
like, the
so
characters.
anime, but it was so good because you know what's great about anime? Shows action really, really, really well.
Yeah.
Like that ending scene where his foot catches, like
that was cool.
That was so. But it's
a scene where we both looked at each other like, whoa.
it's how you show a lot of like we constantly complain about Liam Neeson movies because the action is bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like Jackie Chan shows you everything. This movie shows you like the little things where you go, that's believable now. God damn. We haven't even gotten to the... um,
Ugh.
so yeah, so they fight the monster, and then they're running away, and then the monster grabs his daughter and jumps into the river, and he's freaking the fuck out.
No, but you're forgetting he's running, and then he's holding a little girl's hand. He goes to look
And they
at
trip, and then he's holding his daughter, and he's running, and they trip, and then when he gets back up, he just grabs a hand and starts running again, and then he turns around, it's not his fucking kid, and his kid is standing up slowly and looking at him
the
like
monsters in the background.
mouth open,
Fucking hippo mouth.
just gets her, and dives into the river. Yeah. And then our main character freaks the fuck out and jumps
Yeah,
in.
because it's just on the other side of the river, and he's just like throwing up one of the guys, going to pick him up and everything,
Yeah.
to bring him down to his little lair.
And he's like, the main character's waded out like halfway into the river trying to get his
I don't
daughter.
even think he could swim.
No, his head was barely above
Yeah,
water.
because he was like doggy paddling.
But his whole like, his character is like described as like a bum and a loser. But then the very second his daughter's in danger, he turns into Action Man,
Yeah.
which I liked a lot. In fact, they all turn into Action Person. You know,
That's how people should react.
the entire family, even the dad, who like,
Oh, that was so sad.
it's such a shitty scene. This movie's so great. So then they go to like this weird Asian funeral. I shouldn't say weird. They go to this Asian funeral, and it's very different than what I'm used to, so that's why I'm calling it weird. And they're all crying over the pictures, and then this is when we meet the sister. And
Yeah, well, basically, to give it more context, it's all the pictures of the people that died.
People that died.
There's like a wall full of people,
And it's just
there's
people-
people just hysterically crying,
and they're all in a
bowing down to the picture.
gymnasium, like doing that over
And when you first see
exaggerated.
the scene, us not knowing what it looks like, you think it's just like the quarantine thing where
Well,
everybody's
that's
freaking out.
Yeah, I had to explain to you that like Asian funerals are way different than ours.
Yeah.
Like way different. Like this whole idea of like you walk in and you want to show people how upset you are, so you over exaggerate how hard you're crying, or maybe they are crying that hard. So then, who's the first?
The first is the brother,
The
or
drunk
cousin,
brother.
the cousin.
Who shows? Let's just call him bro. Let's call him the drunk brother, just because.
He shows up drinking. He's all like his
And he
suit's like-
starts screaming at the main character, blaming him for it, and the dad has to get between them. And then the Olympic sister shows up.
You see the bronze medal at first,
Yeah, and she just walks up and starts crying.
and the
then-
father's like, "She brought you her bronze medal."
Yeah, and then they all start crying, and then they fall over, and they're all crying on the floor, and every reporter in the room starts taking photos and
It's
videos.
even at that point the father's like, "We're all together here,
Yeah,
finally
yeah,
to see
yeah,
you."
And they're all just wailing. They all came to see you. They all came to see you. And they're fucking crying. And the news starts filming them. And then this is when Drunk Brother became my favorite character, because he goes, "Why the fuck are you taking pictures?" And it's like, yeah, that's pretty reasonable. So then a man in a quarantine suit is trying to sneak through the crowd, and he trips and falls, and then gets up and does the nothing to see here. But then he starts telling people, like, raise your hand if you were at where the monster was. And everyone's like, why? And he's like, raise your hands. And they're like, okay, so some people start raising their hands. And then he turns on the news, and they're talking about a virus caused by the monster.
No, he turns on the news because the drunk cousin,
Oh,
is
yeah,
like,
I
"What the
want
fuck's
answers."
going on? I want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
answer." He's like, "Oh, I'll put the news on."
And he
So,
has
yeah.
to flip through like 15, and he's like, don't worry, I'll
That
get...
was a good touch, being like, "I don't know what the fuck's going on. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
got the script for you guys." So he puts that on. He basically asks everybody what happened, and then the father goes,
They took my daughter, or
Yeah,
my granddaughter.
"What's he say though?" He's like, "Oh, but I got blood on my face from."
Oh
when
yeah,
I hit
the
it."
main character is like, yeah, I got blood on my face when I fought the monster.
And
the-
exact
and he's
line.
backing up, well,
Yeah.
screaming, get him, while guys are going forward.
That was a nice shot. 'cause
And
it
they're
was,
doing
like,
the
weird.
vertigo, they're
Yeah.
doing the Hitchcock angle, and it looks super good because these guys in yellow are running towards you while the camera's pulling away. And then it does the reverse angle where it's zooming in on the husband's, or and they put him in a bag.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
They like fucking tackle him and put him in a bag and zip
like
him
I don't
up.
think I'm claustrophobic, but being put in a bag like that.
Men in suits like that.
And then the next scene, you see him in the ambulance, and they
Just
have like a
like-
tube, and they're giving him
And
oxygen.
he's got a little hole, and he's just looking out the hole, like trying to see what's going on. And like the guys are just like nonchalantly sitting there.
Yeah, he definitely gets the worst rap in this movie.
Yeah.
About anything.
Yeah. So they wind up taking him and his family to a hospital, but they always keep him behind a plastic sheet. So he's always pressed up against this plastic trying to talk. And like the dad, the grandfather turns to the main character and he's like, "Yo, stop telling people about the blood. All right, we need to stick together. Like, let's stick together." And then a doctor walks by and he's like, "Hey, you're the guy that got the blood on his face, right? No eating for 24 hours because we're gonna do a fuck ton of tests on you."
Mm.
So they spend the night in the hospital and they're all together.
Fucking hero man is scrummaging through his drawer and he picks out like a little can of like, what was it, squid you said?
Yeah,
like octopus.
Yeah, like smoked squid or something, smoked octopus. And
Delicious.
he's fucking eating it. Then he gets a phone call. Who's he get a phone call from?
His daughter. She's in the sewers.
But the reception is shitty.
Because he got her a shitty phone. We
So-
forgot to say he was saving up. He has
He's-
can.
he had
He
a
has a little ramen
Cup
container.
noodles, like the
full
bigger
of
cup.
quarters, mostly dimes.
The Maruchan like cup,
Mm.
not the cup noodle, like the bowl.
Yeah, like it's like this big.
And he had it full of fucking. He probably had like $100 in there. Well, think about it. 4 quarters is $1. That thing was full.
It was mostly dimes.
Okay, 10 dimes is $1. That thing was full.
She was an ungrateful shit.
No, she wasn't. She
I know,
loved her
I'm just
family.
kidding.
That's the whole point of this movie. Is like, even if your family's dysfunctional as fuck, you can rally together and fight a monster.
Yeah, that's what we need now.
No, now we have kids ratting out their parents for having political beliefs that the president doesn't like. Yeah, so the daughter calls her father in the hospital, which makes the father wake up the brother or the cousins and his dad, and they all hear her voice on the phone. So they all know she's alive, but the phone cuts out. So then it cuts to the, again, behind a plastic sheet, trying to explain to the cops that, yes, my daughter is technically dead, but she's alive because she called me last night.
God, it was getting so frustrating. Be like, you're explaining it. Like, did they speak different languages?
No, he just was an idiot who explained things wrong because he didn't get enough protein. Yeah, he was just an idiot and just explaining it the wrong way. And like his cousins are trying to be like, shut up, explain it right.
He even got like a bowl and he's like, put the thing in his mouth.
He's like, I'm the monster. This
"Blah.
phone's my daughter.
This is the sewer.
That's the and the cop is like, has he had a psych evaluation yet? And then that's when the family's like, okay, so no one's gonna help us. Let's get the fuck out of the hospital.
So somehow they contact like this rebel group.
Well, it's explained that the cousin protested, and the father was a ne'er-do-well, or the granddad was a ne'er-do-well who had spent his younger years partying and doing crime instead of raising.
So they have hookups.
Yeah, so they have hookups. So they're sneaking out of the hospital with like masks on. The main character has an IV. The drunk brothers on fucking crutches, and then this lady goes, "Hey, Blondie, stop right there!" And now they're running from like 40 nurses, and the fucking klutz runs into one nurse, and he's like holding her, and they're
He
like,
gently puts her
yeah,
down.
they're like screaming in each other's face, and then he just
He
lays.
gave me arthritis.
Yeah, he lays her on the ground. He gets up and runs away. And then they jump in a van and they're in the parking garage, and everyone's like, "Wait, where's Namju?"
And still running along the car.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
God damn it, stop.
You left your own sister, because he hits them both, and he's like, "You left your own sister behind." That's why I think they're all related, and or like brother and sister.
No, it's definitely cousins.
Okay,
I promise.
so they get her and they escape. And they drive to like some seedy junkyard, where some criminals give them a map, guns, a truck, and uniforms for like 11 grand.
The wrong colored uniforms. Fucking
The
shitty
wrong
ass
kind
truck.
of truck.
I'm pretty sure the map was fucked.
Yeah, the
Like, it
map was
wasn't
fucked.
exactly
It wasn't
great.
good, but it wasn't bad.
And he's like, he has like a receipt paper, so he's literally filling out.
Yeah,
a
he's
receipt
filling out
paper,
like a
like
waiter.
the double-sided receipt ones.
Like a waiter, you know? Like,
and he's like, oh, it'll be $11,400 or something like
so
that.
he gives him his watches, and he's like, no.
You don't take this. So they have like a little shanky
Like ice
thing.
pick thing.
And he like grabs the father's, the old father, grandpa. He grabs his wallet and is like, we'll be taking this.
So he gives him 3 credit cards, all of which the password is 1234, because this family is. It's like we keep
they're
saying,
happy.
like they constantly trip while they're running. they say dumb things and do dumb things constantly. They're like the most average.
Yeah, but it showed them they were wicked happy.
Oh, I fucking wish I was part of their family. Like,
Yeah. I'd have a convenience store on wheels. family.
It's the ultimate life. Yeah, they're dopey, they're dumb, but they're determined. And they manage to, procure what they need to go look in the sewers. And they drive to a checkpoint, and fucking they just get through. And the drug brothers.
Well, they get through because the guy's like, I don't think you guys.
Initially, when they're going through, up until the guy stops them, the drunk brother's like, "What's the fucking point then? Like, why even have this if they're not going to stop us?" And then they stop him, and you see him go, "Oh shit!" and like hide under the blanket. And this guy's like, "So you're driving the wrong truck in the wrong uniforms. You can't tell me who is your boss."
We're the other team.
And then he goes, "Well, I recognize you. You're Mr. Virus." And then the granddad gives him the bucket of money.
That's where he starts panicking. He like reaches over, tries to grab all the money. I'm surprised he took.
Yeah, and then the guy just let him go.
I think he was just more confused, been like,
I think he honestly didn't care.
Well, he probably was one of the ones knowing that they had no concrete evidence of a virus.
Yeah, exactly. So he was going to let them go anyway, but he was just giving them the third degree to see what their intentions were.
I don't feel like dealing with this.
So, yeah, the little girl's in the sewer. She's hiding there. There's the monsters bringing in new bodies every day.
And they're all dead. And she was like the only living one.
Yeah, she's the only. Well, that one guy, one of the cleaner guys, was still breathing, but he was like broken. So she had to like leave him and hide in that little hidey hole.
Yeah.
And then the monster ate him. And she was smart. As every time the monster went away, she jumped out and went through everyone's pockets, to like find shit to try and survive.
Resourceful little girl.
Yeah. And so there's like a weird montage of them like running through sewers with shotguns and stuff looking for the monster. And eventually they get like they're in one sewer and like
water drips on the girl and
they all point up and start shooting, which to be fair,
I'd probably do that.
Yeah. And then they realize, fuck, we're just spooked and it's water and it don't matter. And then the camera does the cool pan, right? Like the cool like 360 or 180 pan, like 180 hard, to homeless kids who were the ones at the beginning.
The ones that the kid tried to rob, and they were like, "Did you just piss yourself?" Because he was carrying him on his back. He's like, "The shot scared me."
And he's like, "Okay."
And I don't know if they know what's going on at this point.
No, they don't. They've been
because they're just living in the sewers.
Like they said, they were living in the sewers, and they were just trying to avoid being caught. And they run back to the family's trailer to stock up on food, which they do.
Yeah, they fucking. But you can't take the money.
No, don't take the money, okay? Because taking the money is theft. It's like it's some concept of like if you're stealing the Spartans did it. Like if you're stealing food to survive, it's fine. Just don't get caught. But if you're stealing money, now you're a criminal.
Yeah.
If you're stealing food to survive, shouldn't do it, but we accept it. Stealing money, now we're gonna beat the shit out of you.
Not bad.
Not a bad policy. It works in small countries. Yeah, so the kids are in the food truck and they're fucking just loading up on shit, having a good time. They step outside the trailer and just get fucking attacked.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it cuts to a news report, right? Of the U.S. Army saying one of the soldiers they sent to respond to the monster has an unknown virus, and they're doing tests on him, and it's not looking good, right? Because they keep building up the virus story in the background.
Yeah, something to keep the people calm.
So everyone's scared of this fucking virus and not the monster per se. I mean, everyone's still scared of the monster, but now they're more scared of the virus because they do that scene where the people are at the bus stop, which is fucking exactly what it's like today, where one person coughs and everyone's like,
oh yeah. Basically, the guy starts coughing, he takes off his mask, spits in a puddle, and a car comes by,
and splashes it, and all the water, everyone starts screaming. And it's like, you don't know why he was coughing. What if he just swallowed saliva wrong? Like, you don't fucking know. Also, you didn't care about disease a month ago. Now you give a shit. Like, come on, man. You can't have it both ways. Yeah. So
I think then it goes to the weird scene where they're all back in the trailer.
Yeah. Because the family winds up like, I think, running out of gas. So they just run back to their like store and they're all sitting in their store eating food, and then the little girl sits with them, and they're all eating food, and they're all looking at her, and they're all giving her food, and they're all happy and talking.
And then it fades into the kid in the sewer.
And she's in the sewer, she's in the thing, and she's catching rainwater in her palm to drink. Like, that's what she's been doing. Oh, the main reason the family left the hospital to go save her is because they realized she hasn't eaten.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck, wait, when was the last time she ate? And they're like, okay, we gotta save her now. Like, you gotta go get her.
She's gonna starve to death.
Yeah, which is awesome because you can go like 5 days without food. So if there were,
I'm so glad they didn't do a whole "she's diabetic" thing.
Yeah.
Like every movie fucking does.
or she has seizures, or no, she was fucking competent and resourceful.
Yeah, but she gotta eat, gotta drink water. That scene was sad.
So after that rainwater scene, the monster comes in and deposits the 2 homeless boys, but the older one is dead. So the young girl decides to become the caretaker of the young boy, and they wind up like living in the hidey hole together, like trying to figure out ways to survive. And then it cuts to, oh, they're inside the trailer, and and they look out the window, right? Because the granddad is telling a story about how he like was a shitty father to his kid, and like because
but he's special.
The 2 cousins were like this idiot sucks, and he's like, you don't understand.
Well, the scene opens and they're all sitting in a thing and he's sleeping, and they're like, we shouldn't be sleeping right now, we gotta move. And the father's like, no, he does this.
Let him sleep, because you don't understand. When he was young, I would go out drinking and doing drugs and fighting, and he was home alone, hungry. He must have been so hungry, so he was resorted to stealing, and he would get beaten up and all this stuff. So you kind of understand our main characters. The reason he's so hardcore about his daughter is because he had a shitty fucking childhood. And the reason the granddad is so hardcore about his granddaughter is because he raised his kid fucking wrong. And the reason the 2 cousins are so hardcore is because they also had shitty fucking childhood. So it's like all these people who had shitty childhoods or were shitty parents
trying to make up for it.
Exactly, to save this little girl. And so while the granddad is like just talking about his son and how he fucked up and how like you need to be nicer to him and all this stuff,
the other 2 fall asleep.
But the main character wakes up, and granddad turns to him and he goes, you're awake? And he goes, shh, and he points, and we cut to the monster outside drinking water.
So that's so funny. It's pouring rain out, so you just see the monster over there like
doing what turkeys do. So he lifts up his shotgun, aims at the monster, and then for some reason the fuck up son yells, shoot, which makes him miss. And then the monster attacks it, and it flips the fucking trailer over, and he's on top looking in the window, and they shoot up, and it falls off.
And I will say, you brought it up a lot. The way that they made the monster move in this movie was so cool.
They put a lot of effort into making it look real.
Like, this is like the best intentions with
like the splash, like when the monster jumps in the water, it's a real splash, because the swan boat scene, you see that guy get soaked. So that's real water, and it behaved like
that was
real.
Close too.
Yeah.
I wonder what they threw in the water.
Probably a big old rock.
Yeah.
You know? Like when the monster's trying to flip over the trailer, he steps down on tiles and makes them move because the tiles are just in mud. And you see the physical tile move.
And what was he struggling with? Because in that scene, he was struggling with something. And you saw like his body
flipping the trailer over.
Yeah, and you saw like the monster's body shaking. Like they put the money in certain scenes where
they put effort and detail into the scenes where effort and detail were needed. But like the monster just running, it's kind of bare bones, which is fine.
But it's you never seen anything like that before, so how would you know?
Exactly, it could be blurry. You don't know. That would be the fucking scariest thing in the world, to see something blurry in real life.
Monster,
like everything else is clear, but it's that thing is blurry. I'd be like, yeah, and just start throwing shit at it, because I wouldn't know what to do, which is what everyone does at the beginning of the movie. They start throwing shit at the monster. So they start fighting the monster. The 3 men are outside shooting shotguns at it, you know. But everyone runs out of ammo, and they're running away. And then the granddad, who swore the last thing he would do on Earth is kill this fucking thing. He wants to slit its belly open and find his granddaughter. He goes, who's got bullets left? And the fuck up goes, I got bullets. And he gives granddad his shotgun. Granddad squares up. He's aiming. Click. And then it cuts the main character going,
counting the shots.
and then he looks up at his dad, and his dad just turns around and goes, "Go," and gets fucking smacked headfirst into the dirt, cracks his skull open. The monster picks him up by his tail and slams him again.
That was fucking brutal because you think he's just jumping into the water with the granddad.
No, he's murdering him before.
Like, this is the monster taunting them now.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh, and the archery chick jumps out and she's like, "Fwink, fwink," just God. What did I say? Any chick in a moment of crisis that starts building a bow is my wife. Like, she's in panic mode, just putting a bow together, like, to go fight this monster. That's hardcore.
Yeah.
She's cool as fuck. So dad dies, the cousins run, the fuck up can't bring himself
to leave his father.
So
he gets caught.
The military comes and catches him. And yeah. This is when the movie takes a dark turn. Darker than it already is.
I wouldn't even say it was super dark at this point. Like, this is where it gets kind of a little
fucked up.
Yeah.
So after the family fights the monster and the dad dies, it cuts to the little girl and the little boy tying clothes together to make a fucking rope ladder, which they then successfully throw up because they're in a ditch kind of thing.
And they grab like the cop baton.
Yeah, the tonfa, and they throw it up and it catches and they pull it and they're like, well, no, they don't even get to pull it because it's 8 feet off the ground and they're only like 3 feet tall. And then the monster comes, so they run and hide in the hole and they're like, man, this sucks. And then it cuts to main character boy
in the hospital.
And they're basically just torturing him.
Yeah, just taking out tissue, putting a needle in his neck, and they see him like pulling blood out and everything.
And he's screaming the whole time because they don't want to inoculate him. And then an American guy walks in. He goes, "Jesus Christ, what the hell are you doing?" And he went, "Hold on, they tell me your daughter's still alive." And he's like, yeah. And he's like, "And she's in the sewer?" Yeah, she's in the sewer.
"Why haven't you told anybody?
Why haven't you told a civil rights group or the military or the police?" "I did, they didn't listen." And then he leans into like just be like, and the American, and he goes, "Okay, so the virus has progressed into his brain." And
it breaks character.
Yeah. And then you see our main character be like, what? Yeah. And they're like, "We're gonna have to do a lobotomy or something. Yeah, we're gonna have to get tissue sample from his brain." And his translator is like, and he was like, "Wait, we didn't tell you? Oh yeah, there is no virus.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go through anyway."
Yeah, it's been probably in the brain.
It's probably in the brain. So then our main character goes, no virus? Like, he figures it out, and then he starts trying to fight, and they fucking strap him down to a chair, and they put the calipers on his head to keep his head straight, and they draw the little dot, and the whole time you're like, how's he gonna get out of this?
And he doesn't.
He doesn't. They drill into his fucking brain.
Fuck that, dude.
Yep. While he's conscious.
Yeah. Because the whole time they're like, "Why isn't he sleeping?" And he's like, "Oh, we gave him the stuff, but he won't go down," or something like that.
Yeah, because he wants to find his fucking daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, the scene where he's like, "Just help me, please. Please help me. Help, you don't do this. Please don't do this." Just begging with the doctors, just like, "Please, you know it's fake. You don't have to do this. Please help me." Terrifying. And it's this slow zoom overhead shot, like on his face, and he's sweaty and panicking, but he can't move his head, so it's just his eyes darting back and forth, and he's like shaking occasionally, just begging them not to drill into his fucking brain. Scariest part of the movie, I think.
Oh yeah, that shit. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck being put in a bag.
Yeah, he had the scariest.
He definitely got the shit end of the
He watched his dad die. He got put in a bag. He got his brain drilled.
Daughter got kidnapped by a monster.
Okay, I thought you were saying the ending. Okay, just make sure. Yeah. So then it cuts to him just sitting in a chair drooling with a fucking hole in his head. And you're like, oh god, this is the end for this character, huh? Nope. Maybe, and I think, because remember what the dad was saying? Something's wrong up here. Maybe when they drilled into his head, it kicked on
fixed him.
Because he instantly, like, the lady's drawing blood, and as soon as the needle's full and she holds it up like this, he grabs her wrist and puts it to her neck and uses, like Like it was like he was just waiting.
Sadistically planning it.
Yeah. And then he gets out of this weird like medical trailer where they're doing
They
experiments on
open
him,
the door.
and a bunch of Americans are barbecuing.
Well, they gotta eat.
I know, man, but it's like come on, Korea, is that what you think we do? Just barbecue all the time? You're not wrong, but come on, man. Nah.
So after he breaks out, he's still holding the thing up to the lady. He's like, "You guys want the virus?" Because none of them know it's fake.
Yeah, it's classified.
So that's how he gets his little escape, and
he's running away. The brother, the brother and sister, after the dad died, separated. So we cut to the brother, who's kind of like shady, fucking badass man, like just hiding out.
Yeah, right outside like a laundromat. Then this fat guy comes, grabs him.
You're missing the part where he's looking at the poster, and he sees deceased, captured.
Yeah.
So he starts to pull the poster off, and he's like, tearing up. And then this fat guy grabs him and throws him around the corner. He's like, "Where were you followed? Where's your sister?" And he's like, "I wasn't followed. Me and my sister separated." And he goes, "Okay."
He should have known something was up too, because he was
very
interested in the sister.
Yeah, which I thought he just wanted to bang her. Because this fat guy is like, he's like, "Hey, remember in the revolution when we were protesting together and stuff?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool." So they go to this office building, and he works in a telecom facility. So the plan is to ping her cell phone and triangulate her location. So the fat guy's like acting like, or he's not acting per se, but he's like, "I don't know how to do it. I'll go check the server or whatever." And he leaves the room, and there's like 30 guys. And they're like, "So how much is the reward? How much are we going to split it?" Like getting ready to capture him.
And as all this is going on, the brother finds the
password to log onto the system, and he does it himself, and he figures it out, and he's screaming for his fat friend to come over, and he's like, "Dude, I did it. And then the 30 guys walk in, and they're like, "Okay."
From one end and then some on the other and everything.
And they're like, "Let's not make this difficult."
This is so cool too, because he picks up the paperclip and puts it in the plug
on the plugs and
shorts everything.
And breakers, and he ducks down and he's crawling his way out. And then the lights come on and everyone sees him just crawling. So he gets up and he starts running, and it's a dead end, and they're all like pounding on the glass, screaming at him. So he runs the other way and he manages to get out. And then he's outside and the cops are coming. So he jumps off an overpass and he's hanging on by his fingertips. And then eventually he falls.
And he does a little roll.
Into the shadow when the person looking over just in the nick of time. Then it cuts to... Does it cut to the sister at this point?
I think the sister comes... Yeah, it does. Cuts to the sister.
Because he's laying on the ground under the overpass, and he texts her with the location of the little girl. And then it cuts to the sister in a dark room, all disgusting and muddied.
It does that cool transition where you think it's him, but it's really her.
Yeah, and she gets a phone text, and she pops up, and she's living in like the scaffolding of a bridge. And she pops out, and she's like, "All right, time to go to work."
Good time to be tiny.
Yep, and she's the one that gets attacked before the brother, right?
Yeah, because basically in this scene, she gets her shit, she goes down, she finds where the monster is and everything.
The monster's running straight at her,
and of course she
knocks an arrow.
She doesn't let go soon enough,
and she gets slammed into like a gully.
Yeah, I thought she was dead.
I mean, for all at that point in the movie, she's dead.
Yeah.
So another one down to the main characters. Oh, that happened before lobotomy. That happened directly after lobotomy.
Did it?
That because remember, I was like, well, we're down to him because we think lobotomy guy is dead. We think she's dead. Dad is dead.
Yeah, because the way the scenes went, he was still hanging.
Yeah.
And then it showed her hands. Then he fell after her. Scene.
Yeah. Ah, that was good. So she's dead in a ditch. Granddad's dead in a ditch. Lobotomy guy just escaped. And then drunk brother wakes up on the ground with a homeless guy. And he's like, "What the fuck?" And the homeless guy is like, "What's up, man?" And he's like, "Fucking, I need to get out of here. Where's the main street? Where's this bridge?" Or whatever. And he's like,
"Find it yourself."
Fucking some thanks for helping you or whatever. And then he goes, "I need to fucking take your alcohol to make Molotovs." And the guy's like, "Oh, you're a protester?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a protester." And the homeless guy's like, "Okay."
No, he's like, "Oh, it's a nice backpack too."
And he smashes him head, and then he gets up and he's like, "Today's boring. I'll go with you." And he follows him in total anime style of like just that, like a spike. I'm bored. I'll see what's going on today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got to lose?
Yeah. So at this point, the main character and drunk brother are running to go fight the monster. He cuts the little girl The monster's asleep, and she throws a can at it, and it doesn't wake up. So she uses this opportunity to try and run up the monster and jump up and grab the thingy. But the monster...
That was such a cool scene how they did that. Too.
Yeah, it
gets... you see her go like this.
Like, realize she's not...
Fuck. And then the camera zooms out, and she's caught by the tail.
And the monster puts her down, and she's standing there, and then she turns to the little boy. She goes, "Get in the hole." And as soon as the little boy moved, the monster woke up, and they start running towards the hole, and then it cuts right before whatever happens.
Yeah.
And it cuts back to the sister waking up in the ditch and climbing out and being like, "Fuck, man." And then seeing the monster heading towards the rally and whatnot. And like the brother is running towards the rally. Everyone's going...
This is where they have like the nice scene where they all meet up again.
Yeah. And they're like, "Let's go fucking kill this thing."
You get the fucking lobotomy brother.
Now, why is the rally happening?
Yes, they have a nice little protest.
Protesting.
Because they're going to release, what's it called? The Yellow.
Agent Yellow.
Agent Yellow.
Which, if you guys know anything about Vietnam, Agent Orange sucks super hard.
Agent Orange is a great band.
Yeah. Orange amps are awesome. Oranges.
I like oranges. Orange soda.
You make your hands weird.
Yeah, that's why I don't eat them as much.
That's why I don't eat them either.
It's like I love the taste, but it's just like, it's not worth it.
It's why when people say apples, oranges, I always pick apples.
Yeah. More easy to eat. You know, the peel stuff, you don't have to worry about your hands smelling like oranges.
Did you know that apple a day thing came because people wouldn't eat raw apples? They would only eat them if they were cooked.
Really?
Yeah. It's just like tomatoes were considered poisonous.
That's weird.
Weird stuff. Anyway.
But yeah, they're all leading up. And they have like this cool action
wait, no, you
got
to tell why they're protesting. What is Agent Yellow?
Agent Yellow is an extermination gas.
A biochemical gas that destroys organic life.
That's why that's so silly.
And what did the machine say? "Please evacuate until you can no longer hear this message."
And it was super loud speaker.
So it's like, oh, I gotta run like 10 miles away from this thing. Shit.
And they have like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So basically, there's this like crane leading this thing, like,
and it's
leaking like, gas.
Yeah, and they're gonna drop it in the river, I guess, to kill the monster.
I think they were hoping the protesters would bait it in, because when the monster comes out, it just goes.
No, I think if this movie is anything, all it shows is everyone's a fucking moron. So like the guys leading the charge against the monster are fucking retards. The family, fucking retards. The protesters, fucking retards. Why would you be there? They're about to launch a fucking chemical. They don't care. We saw they don't care. Why would you be there? Also, the military. Why did you think this was a good idea? This is the worst idea. The family. Why are you like what? Yeah, everyone's a fucking moron in this movie. And
they'll try.
So the monster sees the protesters, the family sees the monster, the military sees the monster, the protesters see the monster.
The monster's like food.
It just turns into a fucking mess. And they release the chemical and it hits the monster, but it also kills a bunch of protesters. One's
bleeding out of the ears and everything.
Yeah, vomiting blood. One single cop draws his gun to fight the monster, which hero. He runs into the
hero moment.
He runs into the poisonous gas to fight the monster. Only guy to do that. Everyone else was running. He ran, hero. Which is what I'm saying about this movie, giving like nobody's like the ultimate characterization where it's like, oh, that guy decided he was going to fight.
Yeah, that was a sad death.
Yeah. So the whole time he's shooting at the monster, the main character is screaming, "Don't shoot," because he saw the monster put the daughter
in the mouth.
Yeah. And he tackles that guy and kicks him, and he's like, "I told you not to shoot." And then he grabs a pole and he starts trying to fight the monster with the pole, but he gets knocked the fuck out, and then it cuts.
At this point, I thought he was dead.
Yeah. And then it cuts to drunk brother rounding the corner, and you see main character on the ground unconscious, and the monster like, "Bah!" And drunk brother's like, "Oh yeah," and he starts lighting his mollies and throwing them at him.
It's bad aim.
Yeah, well,
it'd be hard, yes.
Yeah, it'd be so fucking hard. So he's fucking throwing them, and he's down to his last one, and he's like, "All right, motherfucker." And then it cuts to homeless guy who was his buddy up in the rafters, and he's pouring gasoline down on the monster.
And the monster's like, "Oh, this is fucking delicious."
Yeah, and the main character's like, "This is it," and he drops the molly behind him. And you see it, he turns around and you just see absolute despair on his face. Dip. Sister. Dip. Perfect shot.
Yeah.
Directly into the monster's eye.
I honestly thought they were going to make her miss.
Yeah, I know.
Just because,
Just because that's how this family is.
No, but
remember when Drunk Brother tried to shoot the shotgun and the recoil knocked him down? Yeah, like they're fucking Confederacy of dunces. I liked it. So the monster's burning to death, and it's freaking out, and it sees the water, and it starts running towards the water, and that's when main character steps out with the pole, fucking just like in The Edge, bears down, catches it in the mouth, and you see its feet slide back like in an anime.
That was cool.
And then he stops it, and then he lets go of the pole, and you notice his hands all bloody because he was fucking forcing the pole down its throat.
That would hurt so bad.
And then the monster dies, and he reaches in, and he pulls his daughter and the little boy out.
But
the daughter died.
That's so sad.
Yep. So then it cuts to the snack shop. And
he's sitting there. He doesn't have his dyed blonde hair.
Nope. He's very respectable looking. And his stand seems to be doing well. And he's got, his wanted poster framed.
I would totally frame it.
And then it pans, and he's raising the little boy.
And the end of the movie is just them eating dinner.
Yep, as it slowly zooms out. And it's just them. Oh, we forgot the part where it cuts back to him in real life, and he's looking at the river, and then he goes and picks up a rifle.
Yeah, he thinks he hears something, so he puts his hand on the gun.
And he's just pointing it out the window, and then he stops. And it's obvious. That's how you would live the rest of your life.
Fucking PTSD like crazy.
So he winds up raising the little boy, and it has a shot of the empty parking lot with the thing, with the light, and it just zooms out.
That was a cool shot.
And then it ends.
I like that.
It was a very Fargo-esque scene.
But yeah.
I give this movie a 10 out of 10.
I'd give it a 10 out of 10.
This is...
The camera work in this. The whole movie we're just watching. They're like, that's such a cool shot. That's a cool shot.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Just unorthodox.
I
feel like a lot of it was like, we're in the car, we need to kind of... So let's make it look nice.
The shots in the car where all four characters are, like leaning over each other, and everyone's sweaty and gross.
But even like stupid scenes, like, all right, we need to fill some time. Let's have her run, but let's make it look cool. We'll do then up shot and everything.
Dude, that scene where she's drawing her bow and she's getting ready, and you're like, oh fuck, here it cut, and then she gets knocked to the side.
That was brutal. I thought she was gonna get the shot off.
So yeah, cinematography is amazing. Soundtrack is amazing. Characters are amazing. Costumes, makeup, everything is perfect.
Makeup was really cool. Like the blood effects.
The blood and the mud looked really, really good. The CGI for the time, working with shitty gear, way to go.
It's forgivable for the content in the movie.
Way to fucking go. You nailed it for what you had. Like, you can't be mad. Yeah, it doesn't look like Avengers, but Avengers looks bad, even though it's over. Like, even though the CGI is good, it still looks bad.
The only thing that kind of took me out of it for a second was
the burning
when it was on fire.
But
the fire effects looked really bad.
Yes, the fire effects look really, and that's when you see the monster full body.
Yeah,
like
at the end they went full monster movie where you just see the full monster.
But I think that's the first time the monster's out in the open. It's well lit. Yeah, there's no shadow. Because even when he was throwing the Molotovs, it was constantly obscured by pillars and stuff. Yeah. So like you got to see it in what it was.
But it's not so bad. It takes you out of the movie.
I mean, we both went, ooh, that doesn't look good. But
yeah, but that's us being skeptics.
Still a 10 out of 10 in my mind.
Yeah. It's not fucking Blade where the blood's like...
It's not fucking The Meg with Jason Statham.
I haven't seen that.
I watched it on a whim. He kills the megalodon.
Did he punch it in the face?
No, even better. So they have these cool like submarines, and his submarine gets damaged, and he's on the surface, and you see the shark fin coming at him. And so he goes, "Come on, you bastard." And he pulls out like a piece of metal, and the shark jumps up to kill him, and he ducks and holds the spear up, and he guts the shark.
Cool.
It's the dumbest fucking thing.
I heard it's good.
No, it's
like
good.
Dumb good.
Yeah, it's dumb good. It's dumb good.
But this movie's not dumb good.
This movie is dumb amazing. Yeah. It is a dumb movie.
Man, this shit's stupid.
But it's like the characters are dumb, but
they're relatable. They're
the most human characters I've seen in a long time.
First of all, in situations like that, you're not gonna have the best answer to everything. So they're reacting. Not everybody's reaction time and everything is fucking.
Just the scene where the granddad shoots and it doesn't go off, and he looks right at his son, just like
disappointed me for the last time.
Not even disappointed me, but just like, of course.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah.
But yeah, this movie is free on YouTube.
Comes with subtitles hard encoded.
Yeah, so just watch it. Have a good
It's-
time.
It's one
Don't be
of
a
the
lazy fuck. Read the subtitles.
like, hey, if you want to get into Korean film, start here. Start here. Maybe watch some Old Boy. You know, watch the one about the chick who goes to prison. That one was pretty cool. Lady Vengeance. That's a good one. And the organ salesman. That's a good one too.
The Raid. Is that Korean?
No, that's Taiwanese, I believe.
We
gotta watch The Killer Ichi. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Okay, it's a Japanese film. If we're gonna go into Asian film mode, I'm down. I'll watch a bunch of fucking Asian films.
So will you? Thanks for watching. Let us know what you guys thought of this movie. Don't
Obviously,
forget to
you liked it.
like and subscribe.
More people. I bet people like this movie more than they like our channel.
I would guarantee.
I guarantee that as well.